Clyde Kusatsu. Hi.
Hi, Larry.
It's very good to meet you here.
Thank you.
Burbank, yeah. This is one of the familiar faces of Next Generation.
Yes.
I mean, in this long career.
Admiral Nakamura.
Yeah. Did you ever even toy with maybe giving him a first name?
No. I mean, I think Admiral was fine. The best part would be I was Picard's classmate at the Space Academy.
Right.
So, you know, that in itself is kind of nice to be. It's kind of cool to be part of this whole kind of franchise, kind of historical franchise and everything. So it's amazing how many people. Yeah, I thought I only did like 3 of them. You know, I said, oh no. They consider you part of the whole franchise. I had a guy who I guess made a baseball kind of collection of baseball cards with all the cast, and I got an inquiry from him, and we made a deal, and I wound up signing 1,500 of these baseball cards as Admiral Nakamura, which he sent me 1,500 baseball card things to autograph, the pens, and 2 Kodak, the Kodachrome little throwaway cameras to record it and just historically. So that's provenance was there, you know, and so it was cool, and I learned to do it in increments of 10. Put 10 cards down so you didn't get writer's cramp, and by doing it that way, you kind of got it down, and believe it or not, in a little bit, it was accomplished, set it back up, and it's kind of cool. It's you know.
Once you're in that Star Trek family, you're in it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I was telling you before when they were casting for was it Deep Space Nine?
Right.
And
the
Ferengi character, and I was in the final running to be one of the Ferengis. And Armin Sherman wound up becoming that, and because even by then we knew that God, if you book one of their shows, you have a 7-year run. Not bad. 22 to 26 episodes a season.
Right.
So.
But that would have been 7 years in a Ferengi head.
Yeah, but the thing was, 7 years in a Ferengi head, but nobody really knew what you looked like.
Right.
You know, it's sort of like Michael who played Worf.
Right.
You know, so now he acts and people don't associate unless, wait a minute, that voice sounds familiar.
That voice.
That deep voice.
Yeah.
Because I used to work with him a lot in animated cartoons and stuff like that. I think we did one Fantastic Four where I played Karnak. So I think we did about 6 of those. Like if you were what was it, Johnny? There was a famous cartoon episode, Johnny Quest.
Right.
Johnny Quest. And so I was the evil Dr. Zin.
Oh, you were Dr. Zin.
I was Dr. Zin, and one of my daughters was played by an up-and-comer at the time named Lucy Liu. So, you know, and the thing is, what gets me is interesting is that people will recognize, like my cousin's kids would go, oh, is he in that cartoon? I'm going, they watch The Crawl? Because they'll say go, and they can watch it, and people do. You know, it's
there's credit watchers. Yeah. Well, tell me about, I mean, you had this long career, but tell me about coming in to read for Admiral Nakamura the first time, which was Measure of the Man, which was a classic episode. Especially the earlier years in Next Generation aren't as revered as the later years, but that was a great show and to be a part of.
Well, thank you. I guess I finally hit it. I kept Rick Berman to have me come in, and he'd go, "That's great. That's great. Not right. Not right." And I think it was sort of like the last thing I said, Rick, and he said, "Yeah, I think it'll work." And so it was, okay, great, thanks. And what was really nice was that Patrick was such a professional, and he was quite welcoming to the show. He said, oh, thank you very much for doing this. It's a pleasure. And I learned an interesting thing was that he kept all his scripts. He had them all bound and embossed, whatever, for his library study. I'm like, wow, God, that's quite an achievement.
Okay. Those have not been out on eBay then, it sounds like.
And then there was one, I forget which one, but Patrick also directed one of those episodes where I was in. I can't remember which one. I don't know. It was not Measure of the Man. It could have been Phantasm that he directed.
Okay. Maybe. I'm trying to think. I know it wasn't All Good Things. Rick Colby directed All Good Things. If it was one of your shows, it'd have to be Phantasm.
Yeah. And then also, I'm sorry I can't remember right now. Who played Data?
Oh, Brent Spiner.
Oh, Brent Spiner. The funny thing was, a few years before, Brent and I worked on a pilot for NBC. It was a half-hour sitcom. It was called Sprayberry in Paradise with Jim Neighbors. It was basically Gomer Pyle in Hawaii, and Brent would have been the concierge or the main clerk at the hotel. And anyway, I ran into him a few years later, a couple of years into the run. And I guess I heard him like, oh my God, I gotta be Data and makeup. And I went, of course you know Brent, that the other choice is to be Gratitude. That you're gonna have 7 years, my friend. And then towards the end, I think I ran into him and went, I know. I do. Because it later led into the whole series of feature film.
Right.
That, the more successful one. Right. So that increased and kept the franchise going.
Right.
He was such a good actor, too.
Well, I'm thinking that first time you were an Admiral, they had the older Admiral suit that had that collar. Yeah, and anything you remember about the shooting of especially the first one? That was you had the one tour. I think your scenes were you had a bridge.
I had a bridge scene. There was one. There was another scene. I think I was in some lounge or something like that.
Right.
But I tell you, the thrill of it is to go in there going, bridge. And then get to the bridge, of course, and you're going, this is the bridge of the Enterprise. Nice. Even though it's, plywood and stuff like that.
Right. Now, had you been a Trek fan of any size?
Oh, my God. Okay. I was a freshman at Northwestern, 1966.
Oh.
Star Trek.
Oh.
I mean, it was to the point where it's like I just absorbed all that thing, and that the very fact that the pilot with Jeffrey Hunter was cut into 2 separate episodes and incorporated later on. And I have a great deal of fun sometimes to tell people that who created and produced it aside from Gene Roddenberry, and they'd say, no, who is it? Desi Lu Productions. Desi Arnaz. You know, Lucy, he's the guy. He was the empire builder in Hollywood in his 50s and 60s.
And then after they were separated, Lucy stuck up for it. When
Right.
That's funny. So what do you remember about Phantasms? That was a few years later. I mean, that was a few years went by. I guess it was 6th season, maybe.
Can you remind me what the plot line?
That was the one. I think you were probably on just a view screen. It was about these mystery aliens through another dimension, and people they were getting people in their dreams, and it may have just been a view screen scene. I'm trying.
Well, see, the last one basically was the screen too, but it had to do with the Romulans on the frontier. You must understand, intergalactic peace must be maintained, Picard.
You got to do a Romulan warning, right?
Yes.
Right. But which was a nice kudo having you back in the finale to cap off the show.
It was really. I couldn't ask for anything better. And at that point, it's sort of like by then everybody was real. See, a lot of times I think you don't realize you're doing something that's going to be kind of iconic. I mean, back in '75, I wound up being cast as the real-life Admiral's aide to Yamamoto that was played by Toshiro Mifune in Midway.
Right.
And it was like, oh yeah, Midway. I mean, they did it much better in Tora. My God, they used outtakes from this and that. But you know something? It's been playing every year. It's either Memorial Day or December. It's like this perennial thing. So there's a whole bunch. it's like a continual fan base being created. And I even have a still shot of a couple of the scenes. And the funny thing was, I had worked on that for a week. I was Mifune's aide. And then I left that production and I went up north. We did a TV movie for NBC called Farewell to Manzanar about the Japanese Americans that were put into the concentration camps there.
Right.
So in the space of 3 months, I wound up playing the enemy, and then flip. I was a U.S. citizen being put into the concentration camps because of the war.
Which I believe is the camp that George Takei's family
Manzanar.
was in. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I should let you get back to your table here, and but this has been great. So your Star Trek legacy is something no one could ever take away
from your lips to mine. Thank you very much.
Right. And we should see you out. Let's hope we see you out more on the circuit, at least at Vegas. I hope sometime.
Okay, I'm glad to be the footnote guy coming in there.
No, I think Admiral, you are more than a footnote. We have the Star Trek is a big family, and people love those episodes, and they love the people, and you had 3, so including a finale there, so and a classic episode, and Phantasms is somewhere there in the middle.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. I appreciate that. You have a good time.
That was great. Thank you.